Yo, we are live and direct. All right, what's going on, everybody? It's me, it's me, Corey, Sam's, out here. Got my man, I Am Legend here on the set.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
How you feeling today, man?
Doing good. Ready to talk about some of this comic book stuff.
Absolutely. So, real quick, just for those who don't know, this is That Comic Show. This is the show that we talk about. We talk about comic book stuff. We talk about comic book movies, comic book shows. Every now and again, you're going to see different faces on here. So tonight is just the two of us. We're going to be talking about some Black superheroes. Black History Month, February is wrapping up tonight. It's over.
Went through quick. We already in March.
Look at the split, man. We on to the next month already. Yeah. So we want to touch on and talk about some Black superheroes. Just give some spotlight to the people who made it happen. So
yeah, how you gonna do this? You want to do real comic book superheroes, or are we gonna just do superheroes of the past?
Let's talk about superheroes of the past and into the present.
Okay.
Let's do that. I'll be remiss though if we don't start with talking about my man Chadwick Boseman.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
I definitely wanted to touch on his impact first. Okay, my man said all right, so Rob said the family came through, so he got family time he doing. So
yeah, just got that message.
It's all good. Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, let me ask you this, where were you when you found out of his passing?
I don't know exactly where I was probably in the house, quarantine and everything, but I guess I was in the house. But the way it happened, the way I found out was, I think it was from Facebook. Like, first somebody posted saying, "Oh man, rest in peace." I'm like, huh? And I kept on seeing Chadwick name. Then he was trending everywhere. So I went online, looked it up, and seen that he passed away. And the way he passed away is just like that kind of hurt. Like, I wasn't expecting it. I don't think nobody was expecting it. He never told anybody about his illness, and for what he has done, not just with the role of Black Panther, but just with his career, I mean, it hurt. It hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt.
Definitely. To be honest with you, we were actually wrapping up Buddy versus Christmas. So we were filming we filmed the last bit. We did it at the Make-A-Wish Castle. Then we made our way back and everything like that. And we was in Jersey City. So that's where Buddy's one of Buddy's bakeries is. And I always say, yo, let's celebrate. So we said we're gonna come through. Oh, okay, I see my man Robin's in the building. So he just in time. So let me add him to the stream.
What's up, everybody? My bad. Welcome.
No, you good. Family first, man. Family first. You know how that is. So I was just telling the story, and I'll loop you in, Rob. We're talking about tonight we're talking about Black superheroes, past and present. We started with Chadwick Boseman, the man, and his legacy, just where we were when we found out when it happened. What happened. So like I was saying, we wrapped up filming for Buddy versus Christmas. We said, let's celebrate. We was gonna go out, get some food, everything like that. And then I remember we were standing in line, and my man's was like, he was on his phone. He's like, "Yo, did you see this?" Showed me the phone. I was like, "Nah, man, that's TMZ, man. I don't believe that stuff, man. No, that's fake news, man. I ain't trying to hear that right now."
Yeah.
Because we're on such a high. We don't want to hear that. Then we started scrolling through, and then we was like, oh man. And then that's when we realized, oh wow, Chadwick Boseman passed away. And I was like, man, I was just reading an article about him later that month or earlier that month, basically like, he's been losing weight and people have been trolling him for that, and all that type of stuff, and
And you know what? I personally thought he was losing weight because he's like preparing for a movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, okay, he's getting prepared.
Yeah, because you figure, you're doing that works out, but nah, what broke me is the fact that while he's filming his movies, he's going through treatment, and then while he's going through treatment, he's visiting children that's going through treatment, and man, it put a real damper on the festivities that we had. We just we kind of sat at the table, kind of looking blank staring at each other like, wow, children who look like us had a person that they could look up to as a superhero, and back in the day when we were younger, we had what? Media Man, Blank Man, we had all these not superheroes, just
that's what I was asking you in the beginning, if you could talk about any superhero. That's what I was raised. That was actually my first a black superhero was Media Man.
Media Man, yeah, Robert Townsend.
Yeah, Robert Townsend.
That was my first.
It's so funny that you say that, because I think those are hard for me. Those are hard for me to connect with, because at that time a developing and growing comic book fan, they didn't land the same way, But that boat was the news, man. I remember my wife and I, when we heard it as well, we were kind of reluctant to believe it,
right?
And then it settles on you, and you feel the loss. And then I read an article from his best friend. I think as I'm processing, and I was my process was over time, but it's an article from his best friend that kind of chronicles like that journey and how no one knew, and how that circle was so small, and what Chad would say to him at the end about just his faith and his trust. And then it makes you just look back and go, that's strength, right? That's a strength you see in T'Challa as King, which is kind of funny, right? For me, it was like, you think about T'Challa, who T'Challa is comic book wise, and that's like King, like strong. And then to know that this man, did countless number of movies. I remember 21 Bridges. There's nothing but running. The movie 21 Bridges is nothing, like he just runs. Like it could be 4 feet and he's running there. And you did that going through chemo? Come on.
Yeah. It was when Black Panther hit the theaters, and the type of things we were seeing, how kids from urban communities, they were on buses, field trips, going to see this movie, even though it's a fictional place, it's not real, but the idea that a Black Panther that it can symbolize royalty, and kind of bring people back to
that part,
back to that, the roots of where the African nation once was, where it was just kings and queens and stuff like that. It was powerful. It was powerful.
And just think about the name itself, Black Panther. Like, they was feared in the 50s, the 60s, the early 60s. And to come around to where now we're actually celebrating a Black Panther, it's amazing to me. And I like going to the theaters to see everybody dressed up in costumes. Not even costumes, just African wear. I never seen it before.
I remember in our school too, we did I actually got an opportunity there because I was like the behavior guy, so I was with the kids, and I remember taking the opportunity to school them about. I remember getting the opportunity to school these kids about what it meant to be Black. Right, Wakanda is the first place where Black is excellence. Like, it defines excellence, right? If you are Black in Wakanda, you are proud in every single way because of the technology, because of the education, because of your culture. Like, and Black Panther was the embodiment of Black. And it was just like, I remember trying to instill that in them, because you don't get that. We didn't see that before that. I mean, connecting it to Black heroes that kind of laid the way, but you didn't really get the same impact was, like Black Lightning, maybe Black Lightning, which if you're a DC fan, of, but it's still not the same. You think Marvel, like Bishop isn't pro-Black, and there's some others. Like, I have a favorite from Marvel that I'm like, he's very pro-Black, but he wasn't prominent until 2000 and 4-ish. New Adventures was when this other black character that I love, you know, when he kind of rose. No, I'm Luke. I think Luke Cage. That's one of my favorites. Like he did. Say again?
You say Luke Cage?
Yeah, and he's popular, right? If you're a comic fan, he came out. But in terms of prominence, like current resurgence of Luke Cage, that was like 2004, if anything. I think that's when New Adventures came out or something like that.
Yeah, that's when the version of him, the bald head, yellow shirt, you know, big brawly, you know, type of character that became
when he had the afro.
Nah, when he had the afro, I love that. Also, they're not on the show.
I remember that though.
30 seconds, yeah.
I used to think that costume was so stupid. The afro with the bell bottoms or something. I was like, this is the worst costume ever, man. Like that was horrible.
Don't come for the man just because he was who he was.
Yeah, he was making his way. Yeah. But you know something. You know, T'Challa was you know, just seeing Black Panther. I remember my first time when I was a kid realizing what Black Panther was or who Black Panther was during it was a animated movie, the Avengers animated movie that I saw. It was like, I think it was the first one where they had the I don't know, I guess it was the Tajiri army and stuff like that, and they were in Wakanda and all that stuff. And then that was when I had my first, you know, reaction to like Black Panther, like, oh, okay, wow, this is a black superhero that's not a sidekick. Because almost all of the major superheroes had a sidekick, at least on the Marvel side, and the sidekick was black. You know, Rhodey, War Machine, sidekick to Iron Man. You know, you know, and that was kind of the moniker for a long time. Like, black superheroes were the sidekick. It was just like the double. You know what?
One thing I never understood was Marvel based their mutants on black people, on the fight of black people, and it didn't start out with black characters as mutants. I always thought that was weird.
No, he didn't think it was weird. He thought it was upsetting because, you know, I mean, that's what they did. Like that's white normative. Take a struggle and try to get it to white dominant culture by making it white.
It's what at the end of the day is like, you know, it's business. It's what works for the pocket. You know, that's how it's been. But you know, we've seen changes from that period of time till now. You know, big changes.
Which is why I think we cannot go without, at this point in the show, talking about Monica.
Monica Rambeau?
Yeah.
All right. I was gonna kind of hold up for the
No, go ahead. I'm just saying, like, that's to know that that's where we're at now.
Yes.
I'm thinking about what your comment. I'm saying, yeah, we have come a long way. I'm just thinking about it. Yeah.
But and again, like, so going back, you know, and just looking at where we started. So let's look a little bit in the past. So we mentioned Media Man, Blank Man. You know, my first superhero, black superhero, to me was Bruce. What was it? Leroy Green, the last.
Bruce Leroy.
Yeah, trademark. That was my first. That I could say that was my first black superhero, because I remember watching that movie, and I was in the house, black pants, no shirt, doing all this in the mirror. All day. You know, and I kept telling my mom, I want to be a ninja. I want to be Bruce Leroy. I want to be the Last Dragon. You know, that was my thing when I was a kid. You know, took karate lessons and all that stuff. You know, that's the inspiration that Kmart left for me. You know, you know, that was like my first superhero right there.
Well, I'll say then, because that movie scared me. That movie was sure enough. I don't know what about that scene that scared me. So I guess that's my first real supervillain I've seen. Was sure enough. Oh my gosh.
That movie was a cult. That was a cult classic. That was like the first time, you know, black people were able to. It was a fully funded, you know, black funded production almost, if I'm not mistaken. So like everybody in the cast, with the exception of like, you know, people here and there, but the main people, it was a black man with a pizza shop in Harlem. Like that just sounds, it doesn't even make sense.
I guess the way we're talking about him is kind of like how like my grandfather used to like Shaft. I guess he used to love Shaft and Dolomite and all those films, which were kung fu people with guns and always save the day and get the girls. So
yeah,
they're superheroes.
Yo, I can't think of one. Y'all both have one, and I sadly I can't think of a black superhero where I was like when I was young.
It was
like Blankman.
No, because that wasn't that didn't hit the same. You know, like.
Well, what about this? I'm gonna hit you with this one. I'm gonna get you, sucker. that was like the Avengers. They build that up as if it was the Avengers and everything. Mr. Biggs with the big gold chains and everything. It was comedy. They didn't want to be taken serious, but it was just like, you know.
I guess that's kind of the another dilemma is like there were comedies rather than actual superheroes to fight crime, and
that's my point.
I don't think until Blade came out in like 98, 99 maybe was when we seen our first superhero. Even with that, I didn't think he was a superhero. I just thought he was a vampire killer.
I can label one. I would say it's Blade, but that's not even Blade. Wesley Snipes. I think Wesley Snipes was the first time just seeing him on screen and being a black lead, right? Who wasn't, you know, and then you do a little research and it's like, oh no, this ninja can really fight. Like this is not choreographed. Like, I mean, it is all movies choreographed, but it's like, nah, you see him outside in the streets, like you still catch hands. And then see him in Blade, which I think as a comic community, we forget like Blade. Sorry about that. Blade, he paved the way. Like if it wasn't for Blade, right? Like where would we be?
That's true.
And I don't even think I was old enough to see that movie when it first came out. I think my grandmother took me to see it. And
I saw that in theaters.
So she had my eyes closed. I'm trying to look around and see what's going on.
Ooh, dang, I'm showing my age. I am Legend. Yeah, I saw that in theaters. I did. I
was in theaters. I'm saying I had parental.
I didn't see the movie. I didn't see it in the theaters. My parents they didn't bring me to no. The only black movie I seen. Well, the first movie I saw in theaters was Malcolm X.
Oh, okay.
And that was like it was a long stretch before I actually went to movie theaters by myself. But that was like the first time my mom and my dad allowed me to go to the movie theaters. You know, and that was
that was like 92. That was.
We mentioned Blade and we forgot Michael Jai White, Spawn.
Okay.
Well, there's a reason why I forgot that.
And he also scared me. So I forgot it. I'm with I Am Legend, like, but he also scared me. So I forgot it because it was like, and then I forgot it.
I mean, I never actually read the Spawn comics, maybe like one or two in my lifetime, but I was never really into the whole. Hey, I'm working with the devil and stuff. It was like, that
was a bit. I love this costume, man. His cape was the best cape.
Oh yeah,
his cape was like there was a scene he was on the top of the church and the cape was just like going over the block. I'm like, yo.
Every artist. If there are two heroes that as an artist you try to draw is Batman and Spawn. Like their capes defy physics and like folds too. It's physics and folds. Like I was drawing his cape and I know it was doing things like I don't think fabric moves like that. Like it just that happens.
It just did whatever you wanted. Mm-hmm. Oh man, so the 90s brought us some black superheroes. A lot of it was comedy because at the time I believe it was at the time it was still the common structure of what a superhero is, 6'2", 200 something pounds, white man. That was the image. And that's what was selling, and then Marvel came in, and then we got Blade, and then once Blade once Blade hit, the next one was Black Panther. Really, there was a long stretch in between us. Well, you know what? No, Hancock.
I was gonna say,
yeah, because
that was what was that? Late 2000s?
I think it was around the same time as Iron Man, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah, about 2008, 2009.
2008, you got it. You nailed it.
Yeah, 2008. And you know what? I thought that movie, because it's hard for me to look at Will Smith and separate Will Smith from the character that he's playing on cinema, because it's Will Smith. That's why I keep seeing the Fresh Prince. But him as Hancock, I like the concept.
I did too.
Of him being, he's a being that lived for generations, and he was created and designed to protect. And there was a whole bunch of teams of them, and they're the last team alive and everything like that. But they just plopped him in the middle of the story where it was just him as the only black figure. There was no other, black figures in the movie, just him. So
yeah.
That speaks to the issue of why Black Panther, and technically Luke Cage came out on Netflix before Black Panther.
It did.
But I think that's why you look at Black Panther as being so iconic, because Hancock has a glimmer, but Will Smith was able to do that because he's Will Smith, right. Because he's already whitewashed, and that's no knock to him. I don't think he intends to do that, but
right.
to white businessmen, right, he's safe, and he's a safe black person. White people will watch him, and so the story reflected that. And I think to your point, Sam, it's like, I think it was a good story. It has some good elements. I was like, I can see a 2 of this, right? I can see you maybe build this out, where this goes. But it wasn't enough for us. Like, he's cool, but he's still got a white wife. Again, no knock. And I genuinely say that now. Like, you love who you love, and I genuinely mean that. Right. But it's still visually black man with a white woman, who's got all white friends. You don't even have black friends, all white friends.
Yeah, it was a good concept, and it's like what Corey said. I didn't even realize that he was the only black person in the film. Like,
I think the police chief was like the only one.
I can't remember another black person in the film. So,
but as
we are missing something. Not in the movie area, but the cartoons. I think
Static Shock. I mean, you're talking about cartoons.
Static Shock.
Yeah, Static Shock.
That was another one that hit me where it's like, okay, he talks like me, walks like me.
Yeah.
That was another one where I felt connected to.
You dress with your undershirt in your like, you have your undershirt in your underwear, and then your underwear because when you say tall and me and look like me, I was like, I actually dislike that. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I'm sorry.
He was cool.
Here first.
He was cool. I mean, I just didn't see a superhero that had dreads before and things like that. So
he felt rushed. He felt like
I was in high school. I had braids, so it was.
Can't rock.
No, you didn't like it.
Nah, I think he was forced. I think it was in the cartoon era. You had begin to hear the rumblings, right, as the world looks to be equal and push equality. And you just got this kid. Like, think about his power base. It's not even grounded. So static electricity can do everything. Make nets, make them fly, sticking people to things. And so again, as a reader at that time, you still in the comic books, you have people like, I see somebody here talking about Storm, and things like that. When you have these black characters who's got well thought out powers, and you just get Static Shock, just do everything for the black kids. Just make them happy. And then also the only black person in a lot of white casts.
Right. It wasn't flushed out. But then, speaking in the comic books, we're in the kind of like the cartoons and everything like that. Into the Spider-Verse, one of the biggest hits. In my opinion, it's hard for me to separate it from the live action as far as to rank. But if I was to rank them just based on enjoyability, I'm placing it near the top. Because it was such a bold look at just filming. It was a bold look. It was a different approach. But to tell the story of Miles Morales, a mixed kid, Latino and black in an upscale high school and such, and his father is a police officer in New York. You know, it has all the elements that kids nowadays can literally relate to. You know?
This is why, yo, Sam, you still jumping over my man Luke Cage. Like Miles Morales came out.
I'm getting to Luke Cage.
I thought we was doing it chronologically. I'm over here biding my time from my guys. Right? Because I can't beat Miles Morales.
Well, you kind of squashed my Static Shock whole segment.
You're right. We should get Static Shock more time.
Yeah, it's like what else you want to say?
It's not his fault though, because he's a Detroit-based superhero, and they just can't win for losing. Maybe it's not his fault.
So let's go to Luke Cage, because Luke Cage, you know, during that Netflix run of Marvel, you know, Daredevil definitely set it off the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Luke Cage came in, I thought they got what's the actor's name?
Mahershala Ali.
No, not. Oh
Mike
my
Oldfield.
gosh, yeah. Oh man, I wasn't even getting to that with the villains, but yeah, let's dive in, man.
Mike Oldfield is the.
Yeah, there you go, Mike Oldfield.
Yeah, Cottonmouth. Oh man, that was. I've never sat and watched the series and was so proud, like proud, like rated, like yo, let's go, like what you need me to do, like. I was so proud watching that series, Luke Cage, man, because they just it was hood. It was hood to where, like, you know, we can relate to that. And I thought Marvel did a good job with all their defenders, well, with the exception of Iron Fist. Iron Fist fell off hard.
I'm glad you took that back and say all.
Yeah.
They couldn't. Yeah, they dropped the ball hard with that one.
It started off
they
good.
themselves with the cat.
It's just the ending, the mid and the ending were just too slow. They should have made that like 5 or 6 episodes. It would have been better.
True.
And I'll say Luke Cage to I Am Legend's point, I think is just like Static, because Static, while it didn't do that for me, I recognize where it still represents certain things. And I guess at a point where I was, as a now man, listening to Luke Cage and having read, there's a particular scene in New Avengers where Luke Cage steps to Captain America, and he straight up is like, yo, if you want me to be on this team, we're gonna do things differently. Now I'm like, shoot, like this is, you gonna talk to Captain America like that? Like what's Captain America? Anyway, long story short, like he's like, we want to do real policing. We're gonna be in the, you know, I want us to be on the streets as much as we're saving the world. And I just remember thinking about that, right? This black man who wants to protect this community, and then to see this, the first season, I am a fan of the first season, singular season of Luke Cage.
I was going to ask.
First season only.
First season.
And then to see a cast now, right now we got a taste of what it was like to see us in everything from Misty to him to the villain to his supporting cast. I mean, Rosario Dawson, like shout out to her. I just, that's why I like Luke Cage cannot not be mentioned, because he's a grounded level. He is a street level. I'm gonna see you in the corner store as much as I'll see you in the galaxy type dude. So
yeah. And I think Marvel still has an opportunity to expand, because I remember seeing some rumors about them pulling and bringing in the Netflix heroes into the actual MCU. So whether there's going to be a series on Disney Plus, which you never know. You know, I thought Luke Cage. I like the first season without a doubt. You know, wonderfully made. The second season, I enjoyed elements of it.
Tell me, say more. Which elements?
The fact that they've expanded more on his character, on Luke Cage's character.
You mean the full 180? Come on, Sam. Come on, Sam.
Oh no, come on now. Not full 180.
Yo, he went from like, I respect women, I ain't gonna never touch women, to punching a hole in the wall in her apartment because he's what? What was he feeling? Like this Mr. Like I'm in tune with my feelings. You know, my wife just died, and I can still manage myself with this white chick who killed. And
listen, man, I felt that they took the necessary progression in his character, either based on the comic, just based on where he's going.
I Am Legends.
Nah, because Corey's gonna try to spin it.
I will. I will.
Y'all want to hear it? I'm here for it. I'm here. I want to hear this defense because I'm here for it.
Listen, man, I support everything black. All right, so
that's whitewashing. No. We're here to support you.
I kind of like the villain.
Okay,
who's the villain again?
Oh, Sam's, aren't you of Caribbean descent?
I am.
Stop it then. Stop it. You shouldn't like that villain just because of his accent. You tell me in the world, you can't find an actor who actually have a Caribbean accent. So I'm gonna stop you.
I read that he does have Caribbean descent. I read that. It doesn't matter.
I am of Caribbean descent, but I have no accent. And I don't make an attempt to do it because it's insulting to my own people. And then you're gonna talk about character flick? Come on, Sam's. Holding our people accountable means telling us when we did wrong, and we did wrong by Lucasian that they were trying to do way too much, in my opinion. And
they were
character got babyish. Like all of a sudden, you go from this to me being a well-rounded, healthy black man. There was moments when he was emotionally vulnerable when he needed to be, but also emotionally strong. Like that scene in front of Atticus Finch. When he's talking to the kid who's about to shoot him, like, yeah, go ahead and do it. Right? There's a sense of vulnerability there and strength. And now you're over here crying, and you run out the Rosario, and I can't get myself. And crying is not. Don't hang on the word crying. That's not the issue. Is like for what reasons? Like what's wrong with you? Right? Like what's wrong with you?
Listen, man, we don't have a lot of stuff, man. We don't have a lot of stuff.
Okay, Sam. Okay. All right. Okay.
Let's move past.
What you say? Into the Spider-Verse, absolutely dope. Creative, music, art, everything from the top bottom, man. Into the Spider-Verse just felt like everything me, everything New York, everything hip hop, everything like life. I mean, from the music that I heard the kids. Now I'm in DC and I was listening to the kids sing Sunflower. I got a nephew, like he wanted to be Miles, like just to see that. Mm-hmm. Into the Spider-Verse.
You know what made Into the Spider-Verse work? Because I'm about to correlate to something else that DC is about to do. They built the character pre-movie, maybe 10 years prior.
Mm-hmm.
It made him more popular than the original Spider-Man. Not more popular, but on the same level, you want to say. Peter Parker and Miles Morales, now they go together.
You're right. So much so that he's the only one that survived the Ultimate Universe. God rest the Ultimate Universe's soul.
Exactly. So now we're about to have possibly a black Superman, where if he's that popular as Miles Morales, I don't know if I don't even know nothing about him. It looked like he's not even in the same universe as the regular Superman either. So,
I Am Legend.
You guys you think this is a good idea?
No. Listen, let's dive into it because listen, this is the comic show, and we gotta be
superhero.
I got so excited.
We gotta be able to talk about Marvel, and we gotta be able to talk about some DC. We got to try to balance the two.
You're right.
So So do you want to start? You want to start there with the rumor?
Well, we was talking about Miles Morales, and I was trying to,
I think the rumor's valid. I'll be honest. I actually remember it's now about a year and a half ago. Rumor dropped that Jordan was meeting with WB,
right,
for an undisclosed project, and some people had whispered it would have been that. So this to me is just affirming that, as production time and schedule clears out.
Right.
I'm gonna give my positives. I'm gonna try to be real positive with DC. Shout out to you trying. I'm hold that comment for when I'm done. See how positive it is.
Okay.
I appreciate you trying to diversify your cast. Okay, because really, for your big hitters, John Johns is the only black guy that y'all have outside of Black Lightning. Okay, John Johns was the only black guy you had. And I'm not even talking about John Steele. I'm talking about John Johns, like the Martian. The green guy was the closest black guy that we had before you gave us John Steele.
That's right.
So on that end, I'm like, shout out. And then on Michael B. Jordan, really right now, he's got enough clout with me that I'll give him the benefit of doubt in the role, just because of what he's done with Creed. I hear that they're trying to bring him back for Killmonger. I actually have a theory about how he can be Black Panther without having to, kind of retcon just because of the multiverse. But I'll save those big hitters for later for all the time.
All right.
In that regard, I think that's great. And then there's the downside, though. And my last thing, Superman is so iconically white, so iconically American. You know, I do not think, unless you give the world a story to hold on to, that the movies should be the first time we see this black guy.
I agree.
So how would you?
Even if you would have started with an animated film, at least.
And their animated films are dope. I love their animated films. They're weighty, they're real, they're grounded. But we need, because think about Black Captain America. Marvel had already set that up for a while. You know what I'm saying? The Falcon had been past his run, right? We're getting him. He's past this run.
Mm-hmm.
And so even for your fan base, people are aware, so they'll be able to spread the rumors. You know, I do it all the time. I hear somebody talking, oh, by the way, this is what it is. But everybody's walking into the cinema, and everybody's brand new to this black dude.
Yeah, but even with Falcon becoming Captain America, we actually seen it through like 5-6 movies of, well, maybe 4 or 5 movies with Sam's character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you kind of understood it. You understood Captain America retired. Somebody got to take the mantle. Bucky, he's used to be the Winter Soldier. He used to be a spy on the run. He can't. So Falcon was the next best thing. So people actually seen that with 5-6 movies, understand it. This one we're having DC like, hey, here goes Superman. They're like, who? Like who? Like, we know nothing about him.
I had thoughts on it. Number one, I know last week I was doing too much DC stuff. I was doing too much. I would admit that. I'm back on my Marvel. I don't want to curse, but I'm back on that Marvel train. So DC, anything coming out the DC camp, I'm holding it to the lowest grain of salt until I see a trailer. I need to see a trailer. I don't want to see set pictures. I don't want to see the director talking. I don't want none of that. I want a trailer for me to believe it's coming out. So me personally, I don't believe it's coming out. That's my thing. I hear the rumors, but that's just rumors. Everybody, listen. My man, I Am Legend said this earlier in one of our groups. He was like, "Can I get a Flash? Can I get Flash first? Can I get that? Can I get that?" And I'm like, "Yo, yeah. Can I get Wally West? Are we gonna do that? Can we at least
understand that casting? Ezra, who thought that was all right? Like, can I see the tape? Can I see the tape of Ezra Miller auditioning for Wally West?
Yo, oh, that his face, it just makes me mad.
It's a vampire.
Yeah, you are the Flash. Like, oh man. Anyway, that's for another time. If they decide to do a black Superman, Kal Zod, that's the name, right? I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I'm with you, Legend. That's too much. That's going to be amazing, I'm sure, as far as just like, wow, a black Superman. But we have a black Superman, and that's Steel. And that came out in the 90s with Shaq. I forgot that.
We did. For good reason.
I say I was trying to,
that's an MIB. Somebody with us.
Here we go, guys.
But and if they were to do that right, like again, colors everything. You said the animated movies. When I saw Reign of the Superman, I seen that movie. That was a great movie, animated movie, and I love how they portrayed Steel. And like, yo, he saw Superman. He said, you know what? I ain't gonna have the powers, but hey, I'm gonna be the Black Iron Man, and I'm gonna build the suit. And that's exactly what he did. And I thought that was, man, if only they took that route, that would have been pretty cool. But you know what? I'm not even excited for the potential black Superman, because it's gonna be, first off, it's gonna be mayhem, because people is not ready for that. And even in the comics, they're doing a black Batman, I think.
Oh yeah, and I heard that's getting some pushback already.
And someone said this before. They were like, as long as you don't change the character traits, meaning, Bruce Wayne, he comes from money, he has old money, he's a guy that dresses up as a bat and he goes and beats up, criminals. As long as you don't change those two aspects of him, race.
But that's a lie. That's a lie, because Snyder changed Batman's traits. changed Superman traits already, and nobody said anything.
Well, technically he didn't though.
And never used to kill. Now all of a sudden he's
But he took it to the Grant Morrison timeline. I have to do my research, and the Grant Morrison comic book art, comic books for Batman and Superman, I saw them much darker, saw them much bleak, which is the little DC that I knew, and I had to follow it up because I was like, "What? He killing?" I did it, and it was because of how he approached it. But here, I'm out. Now I'm going to just say an I Am Legend thing and be like, I think it would benefit them to change the characters. I think it would benefit us to see, Superman's pod happen to fall into some urban city and some black couple pick him up and raise him like that. Like, I think that would do differently. Like, and if Michael B. Jordan has any say in what this character can be like, give us that. Because what would it be like if one of us got godlike powers, right? And then my parents are telling me, all right, Anthony, when you go to school, okay, you got to be real careful. You can't play football unless some white kid come up to me. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that a hole in your chest? That's my bad, right? I mean,
that'll probably be too much pandering.
Yeah. That's gonna be. It'll be a lot because it'll be similar to Black Panther, because Black Panther gave the idea that this African nation is far more advanced, and Killmonger, and Killmonger's a villain, but I was
villain? No, you can't use that word. Killmonger's an antagonist.
Sorry, you're right. Antagonist. You're right. For a minute, I was on the side of Killmonger. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'd rather be the former than the latter. We got the artillery, we got the power. Let's liberate our people. Like, I was on that. I was like, yo, this doesn't seem like a bad idea.
But say less for me. He needed to say less, and I was already there. Say less, man.
So if you was in Wakanda, you already know what side you was gonna rock on. That was it.
Been real hard. Honestly, it would have been real hard, but I'd be like, so we marching today or tomorrow was
right here. But that was the thing that made Killmonger so compelling.
Mm-hmm.
Even the last scene with him, buried me in the water amongst the slaves, who jumped from the ships because they knew that death was better than bondage.
Yeah.
I was teary-eyed, I was like,
yes.
My mouth was dropped open like, oh my God. Even saying that again, it just, oh man, it cringes my heart, because like, oh my gosh, that.
Now that's exactly why the Superman that we get should have that, because now imagine for dominant white culture. What is it? In the show, come on now, I got it. That black show on Netflix. It was a movie at first. Dear White People. There's a line that I always quote, and the guy looks at him and says, "You gonna hit me now because you angry?" And he goes, "No, I'm not angry, but I do want to hit you just for you thinking that I am." Right? There's this idea of power restraint. So if you get a black Superman who has this power, but also has the oppression that we have experienced, and yet chooses to do the right thing and chooses not to dominate the world as he should, maybe white culture will understand what it's like to be black and conscious and to have morals and live like us every day. Like, maybe they'll finally get it.
Well, are you familiar with the storyline of the character?
I did do a quick little Google search. It looks like he's the president and Superman of the world. You see what I'm saying? Some writers just be doing stuff. Like, oh, so you're just gonna make us everything, right? Hey,
he's a president, superhero, and the king. It's like, wait, huh?
Not enough, Just give us one thing, Don't make us everything. Oh my God!
Like I said, if they went the Miles Morales route, where they built the character to where they made him more popular than the original, then I'm all for it. But since nobody I know ever read their comics, know about them, doing everything that you're doing, just Google searching on them, they should pass on it.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah, build it up. Drop it in one of them animated movies. Slow build, but that's not DC style. DC's gonna do something. They're gonna throw something out there. They're gonna see how much buzz they get behind it. And if they got enough buzz behind it, then they'll start putting it in motion. And Not think about, all right, well, what's the second? What's the third? How is this going to connect to is this going to connect to this universe? You know, where are we going with it? You know, that whole thing.
Do you think it's because of what Black Panther did in the box office? Why they doing?
Come on, Sam.
I don't think Marvel expected Black Panther to do that well.
Sorry, Aaron Legend. I actually disagree. I think Marvel knew exactly what they're doing.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Because you look at Ryan Coogler was the director. He had done Fruitvale Station, and I think he had now done Creed, right?
Yeah.
And there's one thing that you can see is that when Black folk see themselves in a lot of more positions, we support it. Mm-hmm. And so I think Kevin Feige, in building this universe out, when you think about the characters that they have, Black characters that they have next, he definitely saw this. I think he saw the potential in this. Now, I think they expected success. They didn't expect stellar. We gave them stellar because that's what we do. But I think they came in expecting success, and we pushed them. We pushed them to stellar.
Like Marvel is not ignorant to what the fans want, you know, and they do these little they do the same thing with DC. Like they kind of fill the room, and they'll drop little hints. Because I remember the first time they even mentioned, or not mentioned, but even speculated on Wakanda was during Iron Man 2, when he was talking to Nick Fury, and you see the map in the background, and you see one of the symbols right there in Africa. So if with a keen eye, you would have saw that and be like, why are they in Africa? Oh wait, Wakanda's in Africa. And then little by little, you start hearing vibranium. Okay, then you start hearing Ulysses Claw. And then little by little, you start getting little morsels, and then finally, Civil War, you get full boom. I'm Black Panther. You don't need to know my background. You don't need to know my origin. I'm here. That's it. And then when he first came to the scene, and it was on the rooftop, and you see that twirl. Oh man, I was like, let's go. I like that. That's all I want. That's all I want from you. Like,
yeah, I remember that scene.
Superhero, and we'll do that later.
When these cats are running by cars.
Oh yeah,
he was running past cars. I was like,
see me now.
Every time I watch that, and I see that he's run there, that's so simple. Mm-hmm. That Marvel will put something like that together and have you saying like, wait a minute, these cars are driving at least 40, 50 miles an hour, and they're running by them. That means they are that, it blows your mind when you start thinking about stuff like that, Yeah. but that's the cool thing about Marvel, right? And before we get back to we're on Marvel now, but I just wanted to touch one more thing with DC. And this is a comic book, not a movie or anything. I was reading this comic book series a couple years back called let me make sure I got it right. Hardware, I believe it was called. Yeah, Hardware. It's a DC character. It's an all black DC line that they wrote back in the early 90s, I believe, late 80s, early 90s, and it had a nice little. I think it had like a 3-issue run where it was just all black superhero. It was in New York City. I think it was also in Harlem, if I'm not mistaken. But I was reading that and I said, man, DC would never do this because it's too obscure. If you're not in that world, you're not going to know what it's about. But I really thought that it would have been a real good book to do something that obscure, just to put people's eyes on it. Like Watchmen, I didn't know what Watchmen was until I saw it on the big screen from Zack Snyder. And then I had to look it up myself and get into that. You hate that movie?
I knocked out during that. I can't. It was.
Yeah, for Watchmen, I actually read the books. The graphic novel, phenomenal. But the movie, for some reason, I don't know what about it. I just didn't
get that.
Yeah.
Oh no, I like the movie. I like the movie. I just like the concept of a altered reality where Nixon is president 3-4 times and there's superheroes and they're outlawed by the law. I just like that concept. It's just
once again, the graphic novel A+.
I mean, you like what is it? Bad Boys or The Boys?
The Boys?
Not for now, but that means you must like that show. The Boys.
Yeah, I like that concept too.
Can't even do it.
If the
You
Justice
don't like the boys?
That is so sacrilegious to superheroes. But here's the thing. Let me be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you why I don't like it. And I don't want to stay here for too long, but like, I don't like it because it is exactly what would happen if people have powers.
Yeah,
like it's too close to home. That's why I actually don't like it, because it's like that's reality. That would be reality. Like you would have these a-holes, in church, doing what they want because they got powers. You can stop them.
So you want to see?
It's too.
that's
real.
exactly what I want to see. Exactly how it would be.
No, I want to be so far from reality. I want it to be like heroes always win. Like there was a couple of scenes in that movie, and I was like, I can't. This is what would happen. This is exactly what would happen. I can't do it. Somebody I'm saying it's good, but I just can't.
Somebody in the chat in the chat and Instagram put Batwoman CW. I think they have a black Batwoman.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah. So Corey, right? You said he's gonna have a whole black superhero breakdown, and I was trying to like not mention certain things, so we don't mention it. Some things don't be said.
We gotta highlight the good and the bad.
The bad. I'm not too sure what happened to the Batwoman from the first season or second season, whatever. But the way they introduced this one, it was weird. I was on board with it. I watched the first episode of the season, and I was like, oh no.
I saw that in a commercial. I didn't even know they switched the Batwoman. I didn't know that. I didn't know that until I saw a commercial of it. I was like, oh, she's black. Okay.
Give it a try.
I don't know. I don't like how your face said it.
Oh yeah, I got you to see me.
I'm telling you, it's something about, even if it has some success, it's just like you can't even put stock in it. And granted, to Sam's point, the Arrowverse is probably the more like that's the best thing that they have. And yet there's something about their inability to diversify their story that makes it hard. Because even Black Lightning, I mean, I was all in the first season.
Oh yeah.
In the second season, I saw the Arrowverse archetype again. New person knows my hero. Like, and so it's just like you lose out on it. You lose out.
The CW problem is that they have probably like end up with like 15, 16 seasons for each series. And I don't think that's like the characters are doing the same thing they did back in the early seasons.
Oh man, like
no growth.
Making any sense anymore. They made the same mistakes and everything.
No growth. Why is the Flash like he shouldn't even have a watch? Like he shouldn't even be aware of time. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Because what is the story?
Yes.
Either someone is faster than him, or he has to do something with time.
Oh my God. Yes.
Every time he do something with time, he messes somebody else's family up, and he always cries like, "Oh, I'm not gonna do it again." Next season, he does it again.
That's one of the hardest things to do. Like, and I said we were going to talk a little bit about WandaVision to wrap it up. But like with WandaVision, I feel as though if you're going to tell us a comic book story, and you're going to do it in a TV series type, it has to be like you can't go past like 3 or 4 seasons, like because again you're gonna continue to rotate the story and just move certain parts around, but it's gonna be the same story over and over again.
I see it differently. I think that's actually the place where you can explore story and do it like diversely, do it richly. Right? Because think about comic books. We go back and read the same comic book because of the character and because these evolved stories and new villains. And so I think what WandaVision has shown us, though, but if you are going to live up the comic book world, then live up the comic book world, right? Like give it to us. Don't try to vacillate between, we got to keep it grounded. And then, we still going to do these extraordinary elements. No, like I want to be disconnected from give me bombastic, right? And what Marvel has done is we can believe and intake WandaVision and all the elements of magic is because we believe Iron Man. We believe the man can build a suit in a cave with like a needle pen and some duct tape. Okay. And because we believe that, we now can believe that Wanda's thing because they continue to build it on.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's possible, especially in a TV show. Take your time, build the characters out.
Yeah, but I think unlike comic books, we need some type of ending. Like I said it last week, like the best thing that Marvel has going for it, that we can see the characters in. We can see how are they gonna, become a villain, Are they gonna die, or are they gonna retire? And I think
a beginning and end for them. Yeah.
But there's time.
yeah,
though,
I think
my thing is like there's
CW is
time.
doing is they're saying like, nope, this character is gonna be right here, and you're gonna see him all the time. It's like, come on, it's like that ain't gotta happen.
I think we're saying the same thing. It's just that time, though. I think in a TV, you can take the time to build a character to get to that space and have an end for it. You know, whatever that means: retirement, life, family, move on. I don't think CW wants the character to end, and because of that, they're trying to tell a circular story. Marvel is willing to do it and say, but let's tell the story though. Let's actually tell the story, right? Let's tell Iron Man's entire story. Let's tell Captain America's entire story.
What we call that in anime is like filler. They just add in filler episodes to.
Gosh, don't get me started on
tell the story when it doesn't have to.
Started on fillers.
So WandaVision, right? Let's wrap up with WandaVision. Then before we end the broadcast, I do want to ask best Black superhero. That's the last question. Best Black superhero. Whether and we can look at it from perspective of comics, movie, you know, so on and so forth. So WandaVision. This past episode, they opened up Pandora's box when it came to who Wanda Maximoff is.
Mm-hmm.
And the scene that got me the most was when they were watching TV. And this is spoilers, y'all. If y'all watch it, if y'all haven't seen this last episode, okay, spoilers. They're watching these sitcoms, these movies and everything like that, and they're laughing, and everything looks so peaceful, and then bam, that part rocked me. I was like, whoa, like I wasn't ready for that. And then it was literally the story that they told to Tony Stark in Age of Ultron. And I'm like, yo, Age of Ultron came out 6 years ago, about 6 years ago. And Marvel is so smart because at the end of every episode, they're telling you, yo, go check out Age of Ultron so that you can go check out Age of Ultron. So I'm sitting there watching. I'm just like, yo, you told me the story, and then Marvel, you brought the story to life. And when you see stuff like that, it's like you really care. Like you care. You guys care about your product because you're making me invest in it because you're awarding me for remembering what happened, even though it could have been like a throwaway line, like, yeah, we waited 2 days for Tony Stark to kill us. Okay, well, how come it didn't happen? Tony Stark, his machinery is efficient. If that thing hit, it was supposed to detonate, not dud. His stuff don't dud. So it's like, yo, when you see that, okay, so she had the power the entire time. Wow. What y'all think, man? What y'all think? I could go on.
It was so many things in this episode. Like you know me, like I hate sad stuff, and this one like started off from the very beginning, like, yo, we just gonna be sad this whole episode. Get over it. Like we going through Wanda's life, and damn, y'all, I just wish she has a happy ending. Like the thing that got me the most was when she brought back the line from what was it, Infinity War? Just say like, yo, I only feel you, and then when she did it again, say, I can't feel you no more. Like that tore me up.
And they're pulling direct, like they're pulling panels from the comic book and put it in real life. That's all you gotta do. That is it. Like if I was to do a search, I could see it. Like, oh, here's the scene right here. Like, oh my gosh, that got me too. Rob. You quiet, man.
Because they told the story. They told a story. Like I was connected with Wanda. That idea. I put it up on my page. The idea of what is it? Because the line itself is dope. What is grief if not love enduring? And I was like, yo, what's the greeting card with that? Because I need
yo, seriously.
But the story, like the fact that they told the story, the fact that you understand Wanda and why she is the way she is. And you know how we all knew, everybody, if you watch a show, you knew that Hayward, again, spoiler alert, I'm sorry if you have not watched it, you shouldn't be listening to us. You need to watch the show first, then listen to this. But anyway, we knew that Hayward was off, and to see that process, right, to see now the full story of what she did and how she had been resolute to be alone. And then everything else you said, Sam, was like to go back and I know the threads, like to hear it, literally see the other side, like to be now the other side of the fourth wall, because the fourth wall is usually us. But Marvel's like, no, this is a complete world. So they flip it. And I'm like, oh, that's what happened, right? Because your point, like Iron Man, don't like again, he makes stuff out of trash and caves, and they work better than most stuff. Or his rocket not going off for 2 days, and then Agatha being us. So they kind of played, they played out to some of the things that were like, yeah, chick, right? Like, really? You really thought that didn't blow up? Okay, that's or aren't you sad? Oh, you're not like just having us, Agatha, be our voice.
Yeah.
But also, give us this deep exposition that sets us up, and then the end credit scene, and like to your point, Sam's just like pulling panels off of pages and plastering them on the screen. Like they're setting up for these last 2 episodes are gonna be. That's right. I said the last 2 episodes too. These last 2 episodes are gonna be stuff.
What? You sure not just one more?
I am pretty sure they're gonna give us.
Look, I'll say this. So far, I think the Marvel fans got one thing right, and that's with Agnes. Everything else has been totally wrong. Like we didn't get.
No, I think we're right when it comes to the big villain too. I think we're right when it comes to the big villain.
Yeah,
I do.
Still think?
I do. Because I think her motivation seems very simple, but it's not necessarily evil. I just want to know what you do, how you do what you do, so I can do it. And she could have done other things that would have been, I guess, more evil. But the motivation is simple. But why would you need that, Agatha? And thinking about her comic book origins, because they stay close to their root material. And in the comic book, she is not necessarily evil. Maybe her motives and her methods may be questionable, but not evil.
Yeah, but not evil. He becomes her teacher in a way.
So then I think there has to be a reason why she needs to understand this, if not to prevent that herself. And I think I changed my big to-do. I think it's going to be Doc. I think Doc Strange is going to be the big cameo guy.
The big cameo guy?
It
probably would be, and then lead into this movie. But then we would have to wait about a year before we get the other end of that story.
Nah, we get No Way Home this year.
We do.
He's in that, so I think
so that might be the in-betweener.
And I got brand new theories about that, because I think when you hear No Way Home, and if this power really is about opening doorways, I think we're gonna have a different idea about what No Way Home really means.
I might be on board with you with that, because when I heard that No Way Home, I'm like, he's gonna jump from multiverse to multiverse, and he's not gonna have a way to navigate that. So we're gonna relive and re-see different Spider-Mans, different movies, and we're gonna bring it all. We're gonna crash this whole thing and bring it all under one umbrella. Like that's what I'm thinking they're going with it.
I'm with you. And Garfield needs a second due, because I liked Garfield Spider-Man. I just gotta say it.
Okay.
I liked Garfield Spider-Man.
Oh, we didn't even mention this. What about Jamie Foxx?
Oh, wonderful villain. I think he did a wonderful job. Also, he just fell under this. I think.
Remember the movie he was in?
Superhero. He was a superhero.
Jamie Foxx?
Yeah, was he a superhero, or was he only a villain?
He was a villain. I know he played iconic black people in the past.
Oh, I thought you mean like Django? Django, I'm with you, but
is Django a superhero though? He had no real superpowers. He was just
anti-hero.
Yeah.
Maybe. I thought Electro was a good villain. I did.
The one thing I didn't like about it was the fact that they took the time to explain why the Electros, straightened his teeth. I didn't need to see that. I thought that was.
Dang, I actually don't remember that. If I had remembered that, I probably would like it a little less now.
I was like, come on, guys! Like we've gone past, the comic, the traditional, black comedian, comical type of character. Like if you're gonna make this character serious, we don't need to do all that, the dental work, because that's all people are gonna remember now,
Yeah.
But I thought his character was pretty cool, and he's coming back. So he's going to be in the next movie.
Well, if you listen to Mr. Tom Holland, apparently these are all lies. He has not worked with Andrew Garfield. He has not worked with Tobey Maguire.
Man, I don't believe nothing that young man says, yo. He be spilling the beans all day, yo. I got lied now because Marvel's like, yo, son, We about to just keep you in Sony, yo, and that's it.
Could you imagine us being a threat? Go to timeout.
I'm out.
One movie with them. One movie with them. Go.
That's now, but WandaVision is that last episode was it really brought everything full circle.
Fun theory.
Yeah.
What if Monica? So I think the assumption about that scene at the end of 7 with Monica and Pietro is that she was being controlled. I actually have the theory that she was seeing the energy.
Go back to that episode. Just look right before she looked at Pedro. Her eyes was already purple from looking.
That's exactly what I picked up on. I think people think she was controlled, but I was like, nah. I think she just saw the energy.
Yeah.
Okay. We understand. All right, y'all two deep fans, man. I can't.
Man, we think we are.
Revelation, man.
When I saw it, I was like, okay, Monica, she can see all that.
I can't, just for my sisters out there, all the sisters watching this, shout out to y'all getting the hero that y'all deserve, like getting a sister. I thought Misty Knight was gonna be that girl because Misty Knight deserved to be that girl, but seeing that they didn't get that, Monica Rambeau's finna be that black hero because I honestly think in terms of power, she's could be top 3 or I'll say top 5 because I don't know how you rank them, but top 5 Marvel, she should have that power level, top 5. And I just think it's nice to see a sister get, and she got sister hips, she got sister hair, she got attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they about to give her power.
I was like, all right, go ahead, girl. Go ahead. I see you.
Talk about Monica. What you going? She said Monica. What she? Not Monica. She said Scarlet. What she gonna do? Do it.
Steps up. Got her scared. Got her nervous. Got her nervous. Like,
Agatha was like, oh, whoa, that's not.
Let me step in. You about to get handled.
I'm saving you. I'm actually saving you.
Yeah, she's like, I'm saying, what you was at my door for?
let me save you from yourself because you ain't ready for this fight. You ain't ready for this fight.
No,
you get you ready.
So, what do you guys think? You think the Scarlet Witch is like an entity, like kind of like the Dark Phoenix? Phoenix, I should say, like a force.
Man, nah. I think it's gonna be like I think it's gonna be similar to when Doctor Strange became Doctor Strange. So like when he finally like became the Sorcerer Supreme, it's like his whole demeanor kind of changed. It took shape, in the his cloak and everything like that. It adds to it, but I feel like when he became the Sorcerer Supreme, it kind of like it dawned on him, and it was like, oh, okay, this is who he is. I feel
so you think the Mind Stone was showing like a future version of herself, and it wasn't actually somebody like
trapped? It will be consistent. It will be consistent to the Mind Stone's power.
I would say, Legend, to Corey's point, I think she just has a unique gift to tap into magical energies, unlike other. Just like Doc's gift is like, having this eidetic perfect memory. That means you can remember all the spells, and then you have the gift of putting them together in a unique way. That's what makes him powerful, not necessarily like anything else. I think for her, it might just be her gift is having a connection, a unique connection to magic, like just unlike any other. Like being able to tap directly into the chaos magic, as they called it. That's what I agree with Sam in that part.
But the ancient one also said that about Doctor Strange. She was like, yes, Stephen was supposed to be the best of us. So even she realized that he was supposed to be the Sorcerer Supreme, like the best, the greatest.
Do you think we'll get I'm sorry to end the time because he is one of my top 5 heroes. Do you think we'll get a Doctor Strange, like a Doctor Strange? And I read a couple of his arcs in the comic book that is like, top 3 threat to the universe, Doctor Strange. Because I hope so. Because my man, like, he's gifted. Like he's gifted. His Chris Boccello is one of my favorite artists. And his run on Doctor Strange, not only visually is dope, but you see him like lose all the magic or coming up losing all the magic and then like learning to get it back and going to the grasp, like still being a dope sorcerer, and just using artifacts like legit an axe, you know what I'm saying, and like a spell bottle. Like I think
after we get through phase 4, because I feel that phase 4 of Marvel is going to be
New Avengers.
The tearing down of the hypothetical walls that Fox and Sony has and Paramount has over the Marvel brand. I think that is going to be tearing down all of that and bringing all the characters in. I think Phase 5, the story that they will tell with Doctor Strange, I believe will be on that level. Because going back to the first Doctor Strange, they mentioned the Living Tribunal. Marvel don't mention entities like that just as a throwaway line. They'll say something and they'll get your mind like, okay, well, what's a Living Tribunal? You look it up and you see it's a 3-headed, entity or whatever. Oh, well, technically 4-headed. You start looking that up, you're like, oh, okay. I think they're gonna go to that. I think they're gonna go there. But that might be like, man, I don't know, man. It's
well, we are getting like the Eternals. I'll probably like our first look at
surprisingly quiet, right? Are we not?
It's November. They said
I mean, overall though, like not even a snippet. And my thing is like I just rewatched today most of Infinity War. And like, yo, Thanos was an Eternal, and Eternals are all Thanos level. And I say that just because that scene with the Hulk always makes me laugh because of how let him play. It's like if you heard that, if I was the Hulk, am I heard that? I'd be like, what do you mean let him? Like it was so bad. But anyway, like to know the Eternals are all on that level. How has that Hulk been quiet for so long?
And the crazy thing is that Thanos was a deviant, so he's a mutated version of the Eternals. Imagine a perfected version of the Eternals.
Well, they never clarified that in the movie, so we don't really know. But
true.
Yeah, that's what we're guessing. That's what we're thinking.
Oh my gosh, yo, we could go on. We can go on, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention Storm. One of the first Black queens.
Yes.
Of comic
queens.
Yeah. And I would never forget. My boy had me sketch out his wedding invitations. Excuse me. And he wanted he wanted to do a comic book as his save the date. And we never went forward, but we saved all the artwork that we did. And one of it was, the iconic scene of T'Challa sitting in the throne and Storm right beside him on his shoulder. Yeah. When I found that picture, like I was just staring at it like, yo, this is
excellence.
This is
that's one of my favorite pictures, actually.
One of my favorite pictures. It's so powerful to know that she controls the elements. And then he's the Black Panther. Yo, there's no stronger team. There's no stronger team like that.
So sad that they didn't last. I mean, I know they're still comic books technically low-key dating or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we Marvel needs to get that right again too.
Yeah,
Marvel needs to get that right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I thought the character that played him in Storm in New X, not Halle Berry, the other one.
She had potential.
I forgot. Yeah, she had
the young girl from Cairo that she did
beginnings and everything, but
potential. But if we're gonna, I'd rather get an adult Storm, and I need a sister. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see natural roots. Like, I need a shot to prove. Like, some shot where it's white from roots. Right? Stay Afro out.
You ain't like Angela Bassett.
Stop it.
Because she was rocking the long white locks.
Oh no, you talk about Black Panther. I think you talk. Sorry. Yes, I love that. But I'm saying, but I need something like that.
Right.
You know, Halle Berry, and the fact that somebody dares started the rumor of Beyonce. I know it better be for music, because I'll tell you right now,
that was not for me.
Marvel will lose at least a third of their fan base if Beyonce acts as Storm, or they have, unless they've paid personally for her acting lessons and have watched her, like unless they are personally grooming her for this role.
You messed up the Lion King, yo. Like, how you mess up the Lion
King? Hands down.
It is voice acting.
What's that movie? The first movie I saw her in, where all she had to do was be a mad Black wife. That's what she should do.
Oh, that was so. Oh man, what was that?
Idris Elba, right? Idris Elba had the crazy white chick. Like all you had to do was just be angry. How did you not be angry, right?
Yeah, she messed that up. She ain't about that life. She ain't about that life. Too catered. Too catered. Shuri. Shuri. She's the next one.
The Peter. No, I'm saying Latia. Sorry, Latia, right?
Yeah. She's
also good for
crazy
Black
potential. You know, some rumors saying that she might be the next Black Panther. He might go that route.
They should, but I don't think they. I think the Killmonger theory of multiverse theory of fellow Black Panther may pan out more.
How do you guys feel about them not even trying to recast Black Panther?
I'm fine with it.
No problem.
No, yep.
Just it's hard. That's a hard one because, like, you know, you don't. The theory is that the character is the actor is not bigger than the character. The character is bigger than the actor. That means anybody could be that person as long as they have the build, they fit the build. You could be that. You could be that character. But with Marvel, you can't do that because Marvel doesn't. They don't reboot their property. Marvel Studio. They don't reboot their property. They've been going 11, 12 years strong, and they're not rebooting their characters. So to now,
I'm a little. I was being selfish. I
was like, because aren't you the person that say the character should die?
Not real life.
No. I know, obviously, but I'm saying like.
But man, that's what I mean. Because the last time we seen Black Panther was in the Endgame. But he's coming back as a king 5 years later. So what happened to Wakanda in that 5 years? How are they going to look at him now that he's back? And also, there's still so many storylines that we didn't get to see. Like with seeing Storm, him fight Namor.
Oh yeah,
so much that we didn't see. Now you telling me that, well,
Legend. I think that's exactly why they have the multiverse route is their good out, because I think not the excuse was they're so private that Latia or Shuri would reluctantly would have run this, and I think they can play off what actual Chadwick's story is that had rumors got out that the king was dead, they would have been invaded, so they kept it quiet, and then she's silently running it, and then you have the multiverse, and you come across this guy that looks exactly like Killmonger, but in that universe is actually Black Panther. I think you have an opportunity to bring him here, but here's the thing that I think Marvel might do, and Ryan Coogler, he'll be number 2 though. Shuri will still be number 1. They'll still elevate her, you know, because you get to elevate that fan base, woman fan base, Black fan base, but you also get a Black Panther in a type of regard, but he just won't be, you know, prominent.
Won't be the king.
Exactly. He'll just be number 2 to her, right? Like that. But they both will exist. Yo, Ryan, hit me up, man. I'm a good writer. Just
like, so I love that theory. That the theory, like I'm thinking about it. It makes sense. You do that. You know, my heart is always going to be with Chadwick Boseman. My heart's always going to be there. That's he's always going to have that prominent place. You do have to continue the story. You have to continue developing the world. It is 5 years after the blip, so to speak. So, you know, a lot of things can happen. If they do it right, it could work. It could work if they do it right. And it could go very wrong at the same time.
Yeah.
So they have to be very, because this is like really this is kind of the first time something like this happens, at least in this franchise, that a prominent person that's on the come up passes away and at their prime, young, you know. So there was another one I wanted to touch on. Then we're gonna wrap it up.
What about Patriot? I'm sorry, it's not what you were talking about. Are you guys familiar with Patriot from Young Avengers? And Prodigy from X-Men? Okay. Yeah. I got you. I'm gonna drop knowledge on y'all. Go ahead. We still got that last segment. We got that last segment of what's your favorite hero. But okay.
I was gonna say, I mean, well, Miss Marvel, Kamala, she's
that's not really
right.
Not really us, but
she's a minority, and so in America, if you're not white, You might as well be black. So
yeah, you're a minority. So, that's a that's another
she
door
did good
that
job.
they're opening, because that's a huge fan base right there. A lot of,
Yeah,
Indian.
I like how they build her up in the game, the recent Avengers game that came out.
I hope the PS5 update makes that a little better. I was actually mad to pay full money for that, if only because I think the game has potential.
Yeah,
Mhm.
My issue, and as a gamer, my issue is sometimes not everything needs to be multiplayer. Not everything needs to be online
Yeah,
based.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think if this game was just a solid individual story, built
right.
the same way, but you just told the individual. I think it's phenomenal. And they tried to do too much with it, and therefore I think they lost some elements.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
All
she's in there. Her story's prominent.
Let's talk about it. Favorite superhero, favorite black superhero.
I don't know. You want to go first?
Sure,
Me?
I'll crack it. I'll crack it open. He's not necessarily my favorite, but I'm going to mention him because he's not known and deserves to. So I'm going to go Prodigy from X-Men. Before the No More Mutants whisper from Wanda, he had the ability to have any skill of any person around him. And as a black kid, he ended up being really smart and test. But then his story got dope when the No More Mutants happened, because he lost his ability. And he still ended up working hard to still end up being on the X-Men team. And that was before the Cuckoo sisters opened his mind, because he had all that knowledge. And just a kid who was able to use all the skills and gifts of people around him to be excellent and to be black. So shout out to Prodigy as being a unsung black hero, X-Men base out there.
That's nice. That's a deep cut. That's a deep cut.
Who you got, Corey?
Man, be quite honest, I'm starting from where I began with, Black Panther. That was he was my first, reading comics. When I saw that, I said, you have a person who is richer than Bruce Wayne, can be stronger than Iron Man, and has the abilities to rival some of the strongest mentally. Yeah, with
Smart.
with anyone. Like, it was almost as if they made Black Panther to say, this is what you relegated, African American, sidekicks to be. I'm going to show you what we're supposed to be, and that's what Black Panther meant to me, and that's why I will always have him as my top, black superhero. However,
Hey, you only get one.
Well, I was going to say, if we get more than one, then come on.
You're right. Because we didn't mention.
You might take one of mine.
We didn't even mention this character. But go ahead. You're right.
Okay, because I got two. So I didn't want him to take either one of mine.
Always sneaking. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna go with the first black superhero that I seen on cartoons. Actually, was Bishop. The biggest X-Men. What I like, I like the whole aspect of it. Even though he had a little Jerry curl and everything, but
he had a mohawk,
manipulation and the little scar on his eye, or the M on his eye, I thought he was dope. But until recently, probably like 7 to 10 years ago, I started liking Miles Morales as a character. Spider-Man was one of my favorite characters overall, and the way they brought him in, his suit, like
black and red.
Yeah, I just fit
the
with
ones on his feet, those
exactly can't knock.
Yeah.
You can't knock.
All right, so Corey, you got a second one. Now you can mention it.
I was gonna say Blue Marvel, man. We didn't even touch on that. We didn't even touch on that.
He's more the newer. Like, he came out like what, with late 2000s? I want to say.
I was mid or like 2005,
2010 maybe.
Yeah.
Dang, if we talk about a second one, if you talking about Blue Marvel, so I'm saying this one, he's not a favorite, but he deserves mentioning too. The Patriot, if not because of his lineage. being the grandson of Isaiah Bradley, the true first Captain America, Captain America.
First Captain America. Absolutely.
I think he deserves to be mentioned because they also gave him a real story, having drug-based, and then having to get actual powers from his grandfather and Cap, and then becoming Patriot and being a leader in his own right.
They drew him. He looked like a monster. Like he was just, he looked there, Steven, like a cop.
I was like, you're like 8, you're like 16. What's like how
older shoulders, yo, it was crazy.
How did this happen? But yeah, if we're gonna mention some of the unsungs, but also that should be heroes for young people, I think Patriot, and rocking with them, the Young Avengers, good comic book route. If anybody wants to read those storylines, Young Avengers is definitely dope. Tragic, but good. So yeah.
We didn't really Cyborg.
What about him?
So Corey, earlier this, I told Corey, like, yo, if I don't mention him, then
Don't say nothing. Say nothing. But the kids love Cyborg.
Because they make him like foolish and they boom and bow. Like that's why.
Booyah.
I do like the Teen Titans Go version of Cyborg.
Do you?
That's super weird.
Aqualad. Now, Young Justice.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful work.
Yeah.
I personally love Young Justice. Personally, I think the first 2 seasons, the fourth one, okay. But if you're gonna talk about heroes, now I think he crosses off a lot of buckets. That one again, WB trying to do a lot because he's black and he's of the LGBTQ plus community. But in terms of a grounded young man, like a leader and stands in a very like unique space. I think Aqualad. Okay. The recent Aqualad of like 2010 and sooner. Right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm not a big Young Justice fan, so that's just
wow. Yeah, I think it's classic cartoons, man. That's
I didn't like Teen Titans. I didn't like Young Justice. I didn't like none of that stuff. I don't know.
Young Justice is a good story.
Never clicked for me. Never clicked for me.
Wow. I genuinely, that's why I get upset that the movies can't hit because they do things like that. I mean, DC Justice League War as a movie, Doom.
I've been preaching it. I said,
how do you do that and have crappy movies?
Why would you not do? I'm like, yo, DC, if you want to start from scratch, start with Justice League War. Start with that. Show the heroes already here. Oh man, Green Lantern, yo.
What are we talking about? Movie? Oh, John Johns? I mean, John Stewart. Sorry, John Stewart.
Yeah.
You remember when Common was?
He was a little too.
Yeah,
no, he was like.
Yeah, he was saying. I could have saw Common doing that.
Stop it! Common makes one face.
That's all you need.
He acts with one face.
He's been typecast, but his face, like when I saw him in John Wick 2, I was like,
once again, one face. The entire movie, Common had one face in John Wick 2.
That's all you need, yo. That serious black man face, like, yo.
Shoot, I forgot about John Stewart. Yeah,
John Stewart. I like.
Loki, Lucius Fox deserves mention as a hero because he funded and supports Batman. I'm saying, like, where would Batman be without Lucius Fox?
He's a good side character.
Where would he be without Lucius Fox?
But then that's like like Jarvis.
I think Jarvis deserves credit too, because really, if you look at the movie, Iron Man is nothing but a man whose AI thinks for him. Like he's a puppet.
Wow.
He's a puppet.
Okay.
Wow. Oh man.
Wow. I'm going left.
Gentlemen, this was quite the journey. Quite the journey. Black History Month is it's in February, and we try to highlight the contributions that African Americans have made on this world and in the comic book world. So though it's few in numbers, their legacy has stamped a place in history. So for those who are watching, please go out there, support Black media as far as comic books, graphic novels, Black businesses. We support everything else. So support us. So y'all want to sign off? Tell people where they can find you and so on.
Find me on the IG. I am Legend.
Same here. Colors, everything.
All right.
RG.
You can find me here everywhere. You know, I'm everywhere literally. So all right. So everybody, you guys take good care. The next episode, we might have a new panel. So I'm gonna give some shine to some young kids. You know, we're cards right now.
Good for them.
In our 30s, family men. You know, so I'm thinking about bringing in the young blood for the next episode. You know, and hear their perspective on some of the comic book stuff that's going on. So definitely tune in for that, and you know, we'll see y'all soon. So thank y'all for hanging out.
Yep, it's okay, man.